What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into something really special, the brand new 2026 BMW M2 CS. And let me tell you right off the bat, this thing is absolutely insane on track. Now before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about what CS actually means in BMW's world. It stands for competition sport. And historically, when BMW slaps those two letters on a car, you know you're in for something extraordinary. We've seen CS versions of the M3, M4, M5, and even the previous generation M2. And the formula? It's simple but brutally effective. More power, less weight, sharper handling, all while somehow maintaining daily drivability. So what makes this new M2 CS tick? Let's start with the heart of the beast. Under that sculpted hood sits a twin-turbo inline-six pumping out a ridiculous 523 horsepower. That's 50 more horses than the standard M2, and honestly, you feel every single one of them. BMW borrowed this engine from the all-wheel drive M3 competition, and man, what a choice that was. Torque is up too. We're talking 479 pound-feet compared to 443 in the regular M2 with the automatic. And here's the kicker, that torque plateau is absolutely massive, running from 2,750 all the way up to 5,730 RPM. It's like having a power band that just refuses to quit. Now, I know some of you manual diehards are going to be disappointed, but this CS only comes with an 8-speed automatic. And before you click away, hear me out. This isn't just any automatic, it's borderline telepathic. We're talking about a transmission that knows what you want before you even think it. On track, it never fumbled a shift, never hesitated, never broke the immersion. BMW made this call to maximize lap times and power delivery efficiency, and honestly, I get it, though I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss rowing my own gears. Performance-wise, BMW claims 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Now, we couldn't verify that ourselves during our track test because Mother Nature decided to throw us a curveball with some serious rain. But based on what we experienced, I'm betting this thing will actually do better than that when we get it to our test facility. Let's talk about the weight savings, because this is where things get really interesting. BMW went absolutely carbon fiber crazy with this car. The roof, carbon fiber. Those gorgeous bucket seats that hug you like a long-lost friend, carbon fiber. The trunk lid, you guessed it, more carbon fiber. Those items are optional on the regular M2, but here they're standard equipment. And if you spring for the optional carbon ceramic brakes, which will set you back $800 to $500, you're saving another 48 pounds of unsprung weight. Add in the forged lightweight wheels, 19 inches up front and 20 in the rear, and BMW claims the CS is up to 99 pounds lighter than a standard automatic M2. That might not sound like a ton, but on a car this size, every pound matters. Now let's talk about what really sets this thing apart on track, the Aero and chassis upgrades. Up front, you've got this thin splitter hugging the ground, and BMW actually deleted the center pentagonal grills to give the radiators better airflow. Out back, there's a beefier rear diffuser framing those quad exhaust tips, and a ducktail spoiler integrated right into the trunk lid. BMW says the front splitter and rear spoiler together generate 59 pounds of downforce at 156 miles per hour. That's way below the car's top speed of 188 miles per hour. So imagine what it's doing when you're really cooking. We tested this beast at Michelin's Lawrence Proving Grounds in South Carolina, and even though the rain kept us from exploring the absolute limits, what we experienced was genuinely impressive. On the autocross course, the steering precision was immediately noticeable. BMW increased the negative camber on the front axle by ½ degree, and you can feel exactly what that does. Turn-in is sharper, more immediate. Even with summer Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires struggling for grip on wet asphalt, the front end darted between cones with surgical precision. Then we hit one of the circuit's longer straights, and holy mother of acceleration. The standard M2 is no slouch. But those extra 50 horsepower transform it from a Gulfstream into a Concorde. The power delivery is so smooth, so relentless, and that automatic transmission just amplifies everything. Even with warm tires on a wet track, we had to be really careful with throttle application coming out of medium and high-speed corners. The car was sending enough power to the rear wheels to overwhelm both the traction and stability control systems. In dry conditions, especially with the no-cost optional track tires, Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 or Cup 2R, this thing would be an absolute weapon. But here's what really impressed me about the CS. It's not just a track monster. BMW actually managed to keep this thing civilized for street driving, which is no small feat considering how focused it is. Yeah, it sits about 1/3 of an inch lower than the standard M2. And yes, it has stiffer springs, but the damper tuning is surprisingly compliant when you dial everything back to the comfort settings. I wouldn't call the ride plush by any means, but it doesn't beat you up in the name of stiffness. Even with that ultra-quick steering ratio, the car tracks straight on the highway, without constantly following every groove in the road. The drive mode adjustability is genuinely impressive. The difference between Comfort and Sport Plus is more dramatic than in most other M cars, and that chameleon-like ability to switch between docile and aggressive is what makes the CS such a compelling package. It's that perfect balance between aggression, refinement, and everyday usability that the CS badge has always represented. Inside, the cabin gets that special CS treatment too. There's this glossy woven material covering the dashboard and framing the simplified center console. Those carbon fiber bucket seats I mentioned earlier, they're not just light, they're legitimately comfortable and supportive. BMW managed to nail that sweet spot between holding you in place during hard cornering and not feeling like you're sitting in a racing harness at a stoplight. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the price. This thing starts at $99,775. That's over $30,000 more than a base M2, which is already not cheap. For what's essentially still a 2 Series, that's a lot of money. But here's the thing, if you look at what you're getting, it starts to make more sense. This isn't just a regular M2 with a body kit and some stickers. It's a comprehensively re-engineered machine that delivers a level of performance and precision that justifies at least some of that premium. So the big question, is the M2 CS worth it? Look, if you're cross-shopping this against a standard M2, it's a tough call. The regular M2 is already an incredible driver's car, and you'd have to be a pretty serious enthusiast to justify the CS premium. But if you're looking at this as an alternative to something like a Porsche Cayman GT4 or even stepping up to an M4, suddenly the value proposition looks a lot more attractive. What BMW has done here is follow a proven formula and execute it pretty much flawlessly. They took an already brilliant base in the standard M2 and refined every single aspect without losing what made it special in the first place. It's faster, lighter, sharper, but still livable. That's the magic of the CS badge, and this M2 absolutely earns it. The 2026 M2 CS might not be revolutionary, but it doesn't need to be. Sometimes following the recipe and executing it to perfection is exactly what you need to do, and that's precisely what BMW has done here. All right, everyone, that wraps up our first look at the 2026 BMW M2 CS. Let me know in the comments what you think about this car. Is it worth the premium over the standard M2? Would you take this over a Cayman GT4? And most importantly, manual or automatic for a track-focused car like this? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got a lot more track content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.